Ce qui est jusqu'à les gars et bienvenue à Parler Malcolm parler alors parlant.
Ce qui est l'excusano, les gars, bon vous à parler Malcolm parler. Avance parlance. If you live in France, I'm sorry. What's up, guys, and welcome to Talk Malcolm Talk. So let's talk. Man, it's been like a minute. I think this is like the 28th episode of this, but I haven't done this in like a little bit, and I'm sorry. It was like the last week of school before Thanksgiving break, and you know, you gotta get them grades in because when you come back, a lot of crap's gonna be thrown at you before Christmas break. But anyway, this is like a really big like roundup of what happened this past week in wrestling. Some stuff that's kind of new, some stuff that's kind of not. So last week was WWE Survivor Series, and we saw Brock Lesnar take on Goldberg the first time in 12 years since WrestleMania 20. If you got up to go to the bathroom during like the video package, or maybe like Goldberg's entrance or something, then you probably just came back and Goldberg was still standing there with his music playing because he won. I don't think anyone honestly saw that coming, but that wasn't exactly what's supposed to happen. So the original plan for Brock and Goldberg was just for Brock to come in or Goldberg to come in for one time so they could have one match, and that way it could like kind of overshadow what happened in WrestleMania 20 because everyone hated that. Then plans were kind of altered and tweaked a little bit by Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar, surprisingly, who actually was like had some input and actually wanted this to happen of him actually, you know, losing, which actually says a lot about Brock Lesnar considering you look at WrestleMania 32 where he really didn't want to really work with Dean Ambrose. But like he kind of just came, did him, got a check and left. But the plans were altered, so it would be Brock versus Goldberg, and instead of it having like this long wrestling match, because he has like a 15-minute like cutoff, like anything past that, it's just gonna be just a shoot of crap. But plans were altered so they would have more of like an MMA style match going into it, because Brock Lesnar, who has like a bunch of like UFC experience, as you know, we all pretty much know. And then you have Goldberg, for any Goldberg fan out there, you guys probably know, but like while he was gone for like 12 years, besides having a very interesting addiction to like muscle cars and different types of cars and stuff, he was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, I believe. So we have that kind of combination that you don't really see that often, and it would have been something that would overshadow WrestleMania 20. Then when Goldberg came back and then he talked about how his shoulder was tweaked, the plans got altered once again to it being only just like a squash match because they didn't want Goldberg to be hurt, because they want to make sure they carry out the story, which is actually, so when Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon were talking, they wanted Goldberg to come back for like not just one match, but like multiple matches so they can go to the Rumble and then WrestleMania. So because of Goldberg's injured shoulder, they decided just to have a squash match, which also will kind of like reflect on Goldberg's past WCW matches. And it turned out to kind of be in his favor, because that was probably the most shocking thing in wrestling probably since the streak died. And now with the announcement of Goldberg being in the Rumble, it's most likely Brock Lesnar put himself in the Rumble. If he's not already in, I think he might already be in it. They'll probably like brawl and go outside the ring and both get himself eliminated, and that would go to WrestleMania 33, and we won't have to see Brock versus Shane. I just don't want to see Shane get hurt anymore than he already does. He's had 2 matches this year that I thought he honestly should have died in. So yeah, it's a good thing. Very good thing. And since we're talking about WCW, guys, the son of a plumber, the grandson of a plumber, Cody Rhodes, at WrestleCade this weekend, and WrestleCade's like this big wrestling convention, kind of like WrestleCon, but it's not held like usually around WrestleMania time. It's usually around like Thanksgiving. It's always held in Winston-Salem. I went to the one in 2013. I think this year was like the last one ever. So how their event works, they have like 3 different days. I think like one day you go do something, the other day you go meet a bunch of wrestlers, and then the final day is like this big wrestling event. So like it's their WrestleCade event. So one of the matches, it was Cody Rhodes versus Y2J, former TNA superstar, or talent, for the Global Force Next Generation or Next Gen Championship, which is basically like their secondary title, or like mid-carder title, kind of like the equivalent to the Intercontinental title or US belt, or the TNA, what was that, like Grand Slams, that sort of thing. The point is, Cody Rhodes won the belt from Y2J, and now he's a new GFW Next Gen Champ. Feels so weird to say GFW. GFW. I feel like I'm texting someone. And since we're talking about the sons of famous wrestlers, it's another transition. The son of the Wild Samoan Alpha, or Sika, whichever one, Roman Reigns. No one really knows when he's dropping the US title, if he's even dropping it like anytime soon, or like what's really going on with that, because supposedly he's supposed to be facing Kevin Owens at Roadblock Meets the End, or whatever it's called. At WrestleMania 33, there's a lot of speculation, and supposedly his opponent came out in the news that it's gonna be Braun Strowman. This is what it sounds like. Underdog, right? Or big dog. Is trying to take on the undefeated beast. What does that sound like? If it's for the US title, I just don't really know, honestly. I don't even see Strowman even win the title anytime soon. But if this does happen, then Roman will honestly have to lose, because if he beats Braun, that kills every jobber, except for James Ellsworth. It kills like every jobber's point of, you know, losing to Braun Strowman that quick. It's kind of like what happened with Ryback. But if it does happen, I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad match, because that sounds kind of cool. I think they faced each other like one time on SmackDown before. Why not? I'm going. I'll enjoy it. And since we're talking about speculation of next opponents, another transition. At TLC next Sunday, Nikki Bella is taking on Carmella in a no disqualification match, and that actually sounds pretty cool, honestly. But after that, which we kind of expect Nikki Bella might pick up the win or not, but either way, this should probably be like their last match for a minute. The question is, who is she gonna face next? So now there's like this whole thing going on at Survivor Series when, you know, she got attacked from behind by this mystery person, and a lot of people just think it's Natalya, and they don't really know, like, you know, who did it. It's gonna be the returning, because she's been gone for a minute, because, you know, suspension in movies, Eva Marie. That sounds actually kind of good. Ever since she debuted that gimmick, I'm like, kind of like it. Like, I don't know why. I'm feeling it. But that's a lot of just speculation, but most likely it might be Natalya. So either we get like this kind of cool storyline with Eva, or we get some better match quality with Natalya. So, or a lot better match quality with Natalya, because Eva's like here and Natalya's like up here. But I'm not sure which one of the women they're gonna go with, but either way, you're either gonna get a really good story or some really good matches. There's even more speculation about who's gonna be winning the Royal Rumble, since it's clearly not gonna be Goldberg, or I don't want to say clearly, but hopefully it's not. Now, honestly, I just think it's gonna be Finn Balor, but there's a lot of speculation that it might be between two guys, and Finn Balor's not one of them. John Cena or Chris Jericho. Both of these actually make a lot of sense, but it only makes sense for John Cena to win if and only if Undertaker takes the belt off of AJ at the Royal Rumble. There's not that many people in the business that could like beat AJ Styles without getting like all this like rejection from the fans, and there's no one on God's green earth that's actually gonna boo the Undertaker, so he's probably the right choice. It's not gonna be like a 5-star match or anything, and they can always have rematch like Fastlane, but if Undertaker beats AJ and then Cena wins the Rumble, there's your match. And then Chris Jericho, it's just simple. You just drag out the whole Jericho thing, or Kevin and Chris, or Chris and Kevin. I love that. And simply, they break up maybe around Fastlane-ish, or like a week or two after the Rumble, or the night after the Rumble, honestly. And that leads into the whole Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens thing going into WrestleMania 33 is the main event. Maybe not even the main event. I don't care what that is on the card. I just want to see it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We out.